Hey guys, it's Tilly here, your Wednesday on the Fabby 4, and I am so sorry that I did not upload on time, but my week has been absolutely crazy. I've been babysitting for 9 hours each day, and I'm completely exhausted, but I need to get this video up because it's something that I really feel like ranting about to you guys. So I know last week, for Advice Week, everyone was pretty much really serious and gave really solid advice, and mine was extremely sarcastic and should never be taken seriously. So with that being said, this week for Rant Week, I wanted to get a little more serious and I guess heavy with the subject matter of this rant. So just a heads up that this isn't going to be like funny or anything like that. I got the idea for this video after reading a blog post by Charlie Cox on Style of Natives, which is my favorite blog ever, run by my favorite person ever, and I kind of wish we were best friends because she's 18 and lives in London, and I'm 18 and I live on the other side of the world, which is kind of a problem. But she's really cool, and her blog post was about mental health and about starting a conversation about it. And I read it a few times actually, and it really hit home with me, and gave me the idea to do this for my next rant, and since we were doing Rant Week, I figured, why not now? So everyone knows that when someone's happy, like, you can tell they're happy, and they just walk around and the world is like in their control, and there's like flowers, rainbows, unicorns, and puppies running around. And like they have to make sure everyone knows they're happy, and if someone says like, oh, I'm having a really great day, no one judges them for that. Everyone's like, oh cool, good for you. But if someone comes up to you and they're like, hey, I'm like really stressed out, or hey, I'm having severe anxiety about something, or hey, I've been really depressed lately, no one wants to hear it. No one really talks about it. And that's not okay. I'm not okay with that personally, because why should someone be able to tell you what they're thinking if it's a positive thing and not be able to talk to someone or feel that they can talk to someone when it is a negative thing? Depression is something that people don't even talk about with their best friends and with their family, so the people that you're closest to might not even know you're depressed because it's one of those things in our society today that's just so frowned upon. And if you're depressed, there's something wrong with you, or if you're, you know, feeling stressed out, or if you're anxious and having like anxiety problems, or if you're bipolar or even schizophrenic, that's just wrong. That's not okay. You can't talk about that. Why can't you talk about that? Why can't someone feel comfortable going to their best friend or their family and telling them what they're going through and what they're really feeling? But society has pressed into our minds so much that that's wrong, that you're not thinking right, that there's something wrong with your brain only, and that you're alone, and you're the only one that's going through that and thinking that way, so we have to change you. And that is so, so wrong. Conversations need to take place, because if you're just holding it in, it's almost like a pot of boiling water, but you kept the lid on it. So now everything's gonna boil over and it's gonna spill out and cause this huge, huge mess. When the heat and the steam, it needs to escape, and it's the same thing with mental health. If you keep it bottled up inside of you, it's just gonna reach a breaking point, and it's gonna spill over and boil over, and then society's gonna notice that something's wrong, but it's gonna be too late, because you didn't have a conversation beforehand, but out of nowhere that's your fault, when really it's our society and the way we accept the idea of mental health issues. It's not you that's putting a lid on the boiling pot of water, it's everyone else that's putting a lid on it. Now, I can talk a good talk all I want, but nothing is really gonna make this personal unless I tell you about my personal experience with mental health issues. Now, as far as I can remember, back to, I guess, the 4th grade, so when I was about 9 years old, I had a few deaths in my family around that time. And I went through my first experience with depression, which is normal after someone dies, but it lasted for quite a while, and it was a really rough time. I lost friends, I wasn't talking to people, I was doing okay in school, but I was so young and I didn't really know what was happening, so it was just a really weird thing, and I didn't know what depression was. And I mean, you're 9 years old, you don't know what depression means. You think, oh, I'm sad, but yeah, I'm sad people died, I'm gonna be sad. That was only the first time I dealt with it, and you know, you go in and out of phases of it. It's not like a normal occurring thing. It'll be a few weeks here and a few weeks there, and then it went away for a while. But that wasn't the end of it. I've been struggling with it off and on for years, and it comes and goes, and I've been okay the past couple months, but within the last year, I've hit hard and not been happy at all. And that sounds so basic, being like, oh, I'm sad. But it's more than that. It's not feeling that you're worth it. It's not feeling that anything you do is going to be right. You're always wrong. Everyone's always above you. You're the low man on the totem pole all the time, and nothing anyone can say or do can make it better. No matter how good of a grade you get on a test, you're still not smart. You still don't feel smart enough for someone, for being in school, for having a certain GPA. You're not smart enough to do this. You're not good enough to do that. You don't give yourself enough credit. And I wasn't giving myself enough credit because I work really hard for everything I do, and I wasn't feeling worthy or satisfied with anything. And to put it in just a few words, I was completely miserable with my life. But like my times before, I gradually kind of grew out of it, but I never really talked to anybody about it until right now, which is really weird. But it's just one of those things, and it's probably going to happen again, and I might have to film another video when that happens because it feels really good to talk about this. And yeah. More recently, however, I have been having severe anxiety problems, which are actually a bit more noticeable, I think, than depression because it makes me physically sick. I literally, when I have panic attacks or anxiety attacks, whatever you want to call it, you shake uncontrollably, you feel like you can't breathe, your heart is racing, you're sweating and hyperventilating, and it's crazy. Luckily for me, a good friend of mine, although I don't know if this is like lucky or not, but we both have that in common. We both have anxiety attacks and whatnot every now and then. But I went through a phase, I guess, last month, and it was 3 weeks in a row. Every single day for 3 weeks straight, I had an anxiety attack, and it was awful. People stopped talking to me, people thought I was losing my mind and going crazy, and I couldn't tell them that I just had severe anxiety and no one could talk to me about it, and instead of asking me if I was okay and what was wrong, they just shunned me and avoided me. Now, I've never been officially diagnosed with anxiety or depression, but you know yourself more than any doctor ever could, and if you feel that something's not right, you need to talk about it, and you need to, like I did my research on WebMD, which is probably not the most reliable thing ever, but you know when something's wrong with you. And when you're not feeling right, and people are looking at you weird or not talking to you, and things are changing and you're not sure why, and you think it's yourself, you'll know. You'll know when something's not right. And I think it's really important to be aware of what you're feeling and to talk about it, really, because I started talking about it with my friends and found out she was going through the same exact thing that I was going through, and it honestly made it a lot easier to deal with. Everyone says that the future of our world is in the hands of our generation right now, and that our generation right now is the one that's going to make things change. So, with that being said, our generation can only make a change if we change the way that people perceive mental health issues. So let's change the way people are ashamed of their very own thoughts and feelings. Start the conversation.